Hello everyone, my name's Alex Larcombe and I'm presenting this e-poster on behalf of myself and Dr. Phil Bierwirth from Australian National University. Thank you to the organisers for allowing us to present this e-poster entitled Breathing Increasing Levels of Environmental Carbon Dioxide is linked with CO2 retention along with other impacts on human physiology and health. As a bit of background, humans and our ancestors evolved breathing an atmosphere which contained at maximum around 300 parts per million of carbon dioxide. Over the last few hundred years, and particularly in the last 50 years or so, anthropogenic activities are increasing that amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, such that today it is at about 426 parts per million, so quite a bit higher than humans have ever experienced before. Aerobic organisms, including humans, produce carbon dioxide as a waste product of cellular respiration. This occurs throughout the body, and as the carbon dioxide enters red blood cells for transport back to the lungs for excretion, it is converted into bicarbonate, and in that same process, as shown in the bottom left of the poster, hydrogen ions are produced. And a production of hydrogen ions results in a decrease in blood pH, or an acidification of blood pH. The human body is quite adept at dealing with this for short periods of time via various mechanisms, including an increased rate or depth of breathing, changes to how the kidneys excrete acid or retain bicarbonate in the blood, and changes in how the bones exchange cations with bicarbonate and hydrogen ions as well. Over the long term, however, if the human body is exposed to high levels of carbon dioxide for a long period of time, then those mechanisms can potentially become overwhelmed. As shown in the middle column, there is increasing evidence that the increase in carbon dioxide in our atmosphere is impacting human physiology. We examined some data from the US National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, or NHANES, looking at blood bicarbonate levels over the last 25 years or so. And as you can see in the large graph in the center there, where bicarbonate is represented by the blue line, it increases over this period of time. And not surprisingly, perhaps, it also increases in parallel with the increasing levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Similarly, from the same data set, which contains information from about 7,000 adults in the US, the levels of calcium and phosphorus in the blood of this population has also decreased over that same period of time, as you can see in the bottom two graphs there. So what does all this mean? Well, the excess carbon dioxide that we are subjected to is being stored in the bones as bicarbonate, and in that same process, the calcium and phosphorus carbonates are absorbed from the blood. In the future, our bones may reach the capacity for carbon dioxide storage, and calcification of other organs such as the kidneys, is likely to occur, and this has been seen in experimental studies in animals. Calcium and phosphorus and bicarbonate are all critical elements for a range of human bodily functions, and they all need to be kept within normal physiological range for those functions to work normally. Based on the trends that we're seeing now, the health limits for calcium and phosphorus will both be reached within about 60 years if the current trends continue. And similarly, the levels of bicarbonate will exceed what is currently accepted to be the healthy maximum by the year 2063. These changes in a large cohort in the US show that human physiology is being progressively and consistently altered. Now, there are other factors at play here, so there has been dietary changes and other bits and pieces that may contribute to this. But there is substantial evidence now from a range of other studies, particularly in laboratory studies in small animals, showing that long-term exposure to carbon dioxide does change a range of physiological parameters, including those listed in the discussion box. So in conclusion, we are already being overloaded with carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. It's already considerably higher, almost 50% higher than what we evolved to breathe. And as atmospheric CO2 increases, our pH in the blood remains stable due to these physiological compensation mechanisms. CO2 must build up in the body because of this, because of our breathing rate not changing. And the blood chemistry data shown in this NHANES study shows that this is actually occurring. Thank you for listening.